If you're ready to learn how to sell $10,000 on Amazon in the next 45 days, this is the video for you, because in today's video, we're going to dive into this exact Google Doc that I made for you together. We're going to go through the step-by-step process, everything you need to know to get started, start finding products, and eventually scale your Amazon business to numbers that you probably don't even think are possible right now. We're going to dive into all the details together today, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to sell your first 10,000 bucks on Amazon without doing any marketing, advertising, or even creating your own product. Because if you've learned anything about selling on Amazon, I'm sure you've heard about creating your own product, buying stuff from Alibaba, and that's simply just not the easiest way or even the best way to start making money on Amazon as a beginner. Because at the end of the day, there are already millions of products that sell super well on Amazon. They're popular, trusted name brands. And in this video, I'm going to give you the skills that it takes to go out and look at the biggest, most popular websites on the internet and find products that we can sell for way more on Amazon. And I know that this proven blueprint to actually making money on Amazon works, because this is the exact strategies that took me from a broke college kid to selling multiple millions on Amazon. And it's the exact same process that I've seen thousands of other successful Amazon sellers start and scale their business with. And I hate to break the bad news to you, but if you're watching this video hoping for some get rich quick scheme or to learn the next passive income method, this is not it. Selling on Amazon takes dedicated hard work, but using the proven blueprint that I'm about to break down for you, you can absolutely make it work for yourself. I know it because I've done it, and I'm super excited to see you take action on this stuff and do it for yourself. So let's just go ahead and dive in here. We're going to dive in with the screen share here. We're going to go step by step, walk you through the whole process, right? So I'm going to assume you're a complete beginner if you're watching this video. If you're not, you can skip ahead a minute or two after we've gone ahead and set up the Amazon seller account. So if you have not already done so, you can go to sell.amazon.com. It's right here. It costs $40 a month for the professional plan of an Amazon seller account. I would really recommend you just dive in and get that professional plan. There is a free version, but with the free version, you pay an extra $1 per unit. So if you sell 40 products in a month, which is fairly easy to do, especially if you're wanting to scale really quickly here, you would lose money on the individual plan basically. And you'll also have an easier time getting sales and getting approved to sell big name brands, all that kind of stuff we're going to be breaking down here for you today. Go to sell.amazon.com, get that professional seller account. And to get that Amazon seller account set up, you do need a couple things set up beforehand, right? So you need a bank account, pretty obvious. You got to have somewhere for Amazon to send you money. You do need a credit card, and it does need to be a credit card so that you can put it in on Amazon Seller Central as you're signing up. That's where your initial fees and shipping charges, all that kind of stuff is going to get charged. For the first couple weeks, you might have some charges coming out of your credit card, but for the rest of your Amazon account, that will just be a negative against your sales basically. So it shouldn't really matter beyond the first couple weeks of your business. You also need some kind of tax ID number, whether that is your social security number or your business EIN. If you want to go ahead and set up a legal business structure, you can get an EIN. That kind of stuff isn't required. I'll touch on that here in just a second. You also need a phone number. That's going to be so Amazon can call you, all that kind of stuff, and it is used for verification. And then you obviously also need like a business address, right? So for most of us, I know this was for me when I first started, it was just like my house address. If you want to use like a local UPS box with an address, that kind of thing, that can work as well. And another thing I want to touch on here that I get asked about all the time is, do I need an LLC to start selling on Amazon? The legal advice is consult your lawyer, consult your CPA, all that kind of stuff. What I will tell you from personal experience is that I did not have an LLC when I first started my business. Keep in mind, I was a broke college kid. I had nothing to my name. So if anything did go wrong in my business, wouldn't really matter anyway. If you got family, house, kids, that kind of thing, it's probably a good idea. But again, talk to a CPA lawyer on that type of thing there, right? So after you've got all this set up and you've gone to sign up for the seller account, all that good stuff, they may also ask to verify your information on the Amazon side of things. So you might either have to do a video interview, or they might send you a postcard to your address and say, hey, punch in the custom code that's on the postcard when it gets there. Just basically verifying that you are who you say you are at your address, that kind of stuff. So after you've got the Amazon seller account set up, our second step is to start picking out some of these supplies that we need to sell on Amazon. Don't overthink this type of thing. I see a lot of people get stuck at like do I have to buy this and this and this, right? So keep it as simple as possible. And honestly, as you go, you'll start to see what supplies you're going to end up needing. As far as like bare basics go, I will recommend a couple things. Boxes, you can just get these from like Walmart. I know I used to fill up a ton of these red boxes right here, these red Walmart boxes. These are going to be useful for us to ship products off to Amazon. We also need a shipping scale, so something that measures at least 50 pounds. That is going to be useful for creating FBA shipments where we're sending it off to Amazon. They're taking care of all the hard work, all that good stuff, right? It's also a good idea if you want to be pretty efficient with things to get a label printer. You can use a Rollo. There's also much cheaper ones on Amazon as well. It is you get what you pay for type of thing. You'll have a lot more success using some of the software that we're going to break down today if you use, a quality printer, that kind of thing. Again, not an essential, but it will make life a little bit easier. You do need barcode labels. These are going to go over your products. And like I said, we'll be breaking down all this type of stuff, right? And then you're also going to want to have thermal labels like these that are 4x6. These are going to have your UPS and FBA box labels. So these are the basically like the labels that you'll need for your inventory, and then just like a tape gun, tape dispenser, that type of thing. Keep it super simple with all this. As you go, you might want to get like poly bags and poly mailers, that type of stuff, but that is the bare essentials for what you actually need. As you start shipping products in, you'll start noticing what needs what and all that kind of stuff. It's relatively self-explanatory as you go through the process, but make sure you've got kind of those essentials, and let's go from there. So step 3, now we've got some physical supplies. What are the software supplies that we need to run this business, right? So I'm just going to break down the 3 essential tools that you'll probably want to have as a beginner Amazon seller. Add on whatever you want, cut any of these that you don't think are useful for your business right now, but this is the tech stack that I would personally be using if I was starting all over today on Amazon. I use all 3 of these every single day. And the first tool that we want to look at is called SellerAmp. So this is our product research tool. You can check it out, selleramp.com, that kind of thing. Go ahead and just get a free trial. All the software that's out there, you're going to be able to get a free trial on. And basically what SellerAmp does is it embeds product information on any Amazon listing. There's also lots more kind of functionality that we'll be diving into, but just to show you the basics of how it works is on this Amazon listing, it shows us the BSR. So this is the best sellers rank. Basically, how well does this product sell compared to every other beauty product? So this is like the 11,000th best selling beauty product. And you can see even with it being in the 11,000s, it still sells almost 900 times a month. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of idea as to how much demand, how much opportunity there is in selling on Amazon. And we can also plug in like our cost prices, and it's going to automatically pull the price that it's currently selling for. So let's say you found this for $3. It's going to say, hey, you're going to make, $3.50, or let's say you find it for $8. It's like, all right, probably don't want to lose $1.40 a unit. So you can just plug in your fees and quickly see everything at a glance. And obviously there's lots more that goes into this tool. I'll be showing you some other features because this is how we're able to source products, especially as a new seller. It's the best beginner sourcing method. And we'll be diving into all that. SellerAmp's about $20 a month. So make sure we're keeping overhead super low here. The next software that you'll want to use is called Keepa. You can check it out just at keepa.com. This is like the standard software that pretty much any Amazon seller will suggest that you have, because basically what it does is it shows us a bunch of historical data about the product. So we can see some of that data on the SellerAmp chart, but there's also extra data on Keepa, stuff like the data offers tab. There's more just like advanced data, right? So data offers is something that allows us to see the exact price and stock count of every seller on the listing that's ever been on the listing, which if you're like, wow, that sounds powerful, it is, right? So you want to have these more advanced analytics things to look at. See, right here, I see literal proof on this chart down here that if I want to charge $12.80 and I have some stock on it, looks like I can sell it pretty quick. Like they're selling a couple hundred, that type of thing, right? So Keepa embeds on basically every Amazon page. You can use it to show a ton of data about the products. By the way, everything that I'm breaking down, I have full complete guides on the channel. I've got like a 20-30 minute Keepa guide, got a 40-minute SellerAmp guide, all that kind of stuff. So if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, you can go check one of those videos out after you watch the bird's eye view video that we're breaking down. And so now that you have Keepa and SellerAmp, those are both $20 a month. The other software that you probably want to take advantage of is our shipping tool called Boxum. This isn't 100% essential if you are very limited on capital. If you got 500, $1,000, you can probably save it for now. But basically what Boxum does is it's going to track your analytics and profit and revenue. So you can see this is my Boxum backend right here. You can see like revenue today, this week, all that kind of stuff. We can configure these dates. So having that kind of bird's eye view, knowing your true profit is super, super important, right? But where it becomes even more important in your business is the create a shipment process. So on any of these products that we're finding, we can use Boxum to make our shipments. We can also use Boxum to do things like 2D barcodes, which is a little bit more of an advanced topic. But basically from what I've seen in my own business is it helps your inventory check in at Amazon faster. It helps Amazon track your inventory a little bit easier. You lose less inventory using 2D barcodes, and you have to use a third-party software like Boxum to have access to those 2D barcodes. Not to mention that creating a shipment through Boxum will save you a ton of time. So now that you're a business owner, you got to value your time a little bit. And Boxum pretty much walks you through the step-by-step process of creating a shipment without having to deal with the complications of Seller Central, where it can be tricky to figure out, but we can walk you through the process, make it a lot simpler for you, basically. So again, if you don't already have one of those tools, you can check out free trials down below. And also, by the way, you can download this exact document that we are breaking down here today. I'll leave the link down below in the description if you want to download this, run through this document yourself. So now we're on to step 4, right? Now's the fun part. We got all the boring stuff set up. We've got our software, all that good stuff. Now, how do we actually start finding profitable products? And what I would suggest is the easiest way to start is by doing what's called reverse sourcing. So this is where we can really get into the fun part and actually making money together, right? And to show you how this works, I went ahead and pulled up a quick example of a winning product that I found recently, right? So that's this like pair of shoes, for example. We can buy these for $35 on sale from Reebok, and then they're selling for about $70 on Amazon. So that's just like like one quick example, right? This sells like 300 or so times, split between all the colors and sizes and stuff. And what we can do with this information is basically use it to create an infinite list of more profitable products that we can sell on Amazon. All you need is one product to start from. You can start from this product. You can start from any of these sourcing videos on my channel. I've found a ton of profitable products live with you guys. You just need one example product to start from. And then we go down to the offers tab of SellerAmp. You just go ahead and open up one of these storefronts here. And basically the reason why this is so powerful is now that we've identified, hey, there's some cheap products on Reebok today, right? So I noticed there's like a big site-wide sale going on, for example. Now that I know that's happening, let me go on Amazon and look at all of the sellers who are selling other Reebok branded items and see if I can find any profit left on the bones after it's all said and done. So I can see this seller right here, they have 7 Reebok products. So I went ahead and just clicked that and filter down to only see their Reebok branded items. And then from there, we can zoom in and say, hey, is this product something that I think I can realistically find for my max cost option? So this is right here saying, if you can buy this for $17.45 or less, you're going to make at least 35% ROI or $3 profit. Those are my kind of criteria that I look for in an item. And as we go through these storefronts here, we can see there's only a couple examples on this guy's store. We are able to quickly identify if something might be worth looking into further, right? Over here on the Keepa chart that is embedded, we can see how that orange price line is decreasing recently. This is showing me that it's maybe something that I don't want to hop on a sinking ship where the profit is just going down and down, right? Something like this where the price line is a little bit flatter. Maybe I do want to check that out. So I can press the search for product on Google button, and that's just going to take the title of that product and search it for me basically. And we can see right here, that's probably that pair of shoes. They're $80 on the Reebok website with that sale going on. And then over here on Amazon, that same pair of shoes is going for like $100, right? So there's not going to be much profit left on the bones there. I also think it's like a slightly different color. You can probably find that color on this listing here, something like that. But that's how reverse sourcing works, right? So we go to any example product on Amazon. We use SellerAmp to quickly identify all of the products that seller is selling, especially in a brand that we already know we can find cheaply, and we dive in from there. So for example, on this guy's store, like this one didn't turn out to be super interesting. That other one was a little bit too cheap. And the third shoe was the profitable item we came from. And this becomes basically like an infinite source of leads because we can just go down and check out the other sellers on any product that we end up on. So now we've got this storefront here. They've got 58 Reebok branded products that they've already done the research. They've done the legwork to say, hey, this is something that's profitable. And now we can just dive in and say, all right, if I can find these cheap enough at the sale website, I'm going to be making some money. So something like this is a great example, right? We just came from this listing here where we know that these are going for 80-ish. Yeah, so we can see these like the orange stripe right there. And then he's selling these 8.5s for $131. So this could be a nice profitable example, right? So let's go and check it out. So $70 selling for $131. Okay, so $80 we're like not quite dealing with our ideal ROI, but we do make $23 in profit. Looks like on the Keepa chart, that price is relatively consistent as well. It's been up at the 125, 130 range. So this isn't like the best product in the world. Like usually I'd love to see a 35% ROI. But here within a couple minutes, we found something we can make $22 in profit on. Not too bad. And clearly it shows how that sourcing method works. Just diving into storefronts, taking advantage of lots of kind of secret discount methods. I'm going to be breaking down some super special sauce on increasing your margins, turning items that other people think are junk into really good ones. So make sure you're sticking around for that as well. But let's dive back over into the document, right? So that's reverse sourcing. You need 2 tools for that. You need Keepa and SellerAmp to make that work. By the way, on this document, if you guys check it out, there's also going to be a ton of linked video guides. So like I was saying, I've got a bunch of other tutorials on the channel. Like these will show you how to get that done, right? So you can see those will send you to like probably the better YouTube videos about that topic basically. And so let's talk about the next sourcing method, which is going to be manual sourcing, right? So manual sourcing is how I do most of my sourcing as a more like veteran Amazon seller. I've done enough looking through storefronts that when we look through these stores, we're going to notice a pattern. I bet you'll see it right here where like the pretty standard basic colored items, like those tend to do a little bit better, or within certain brands, which models do better than others. So you can see like a lot of blacks and grays and that kind of stuff. I can also see a lot of like cross trainers and like lifting shoes. So the more of these storefronts that you're looking at that are selling more Reebok branded products, you're probably going to start connecting the dots and going, okay, let me look for more workout shoes. And then the more you just look at products, the more you understand that. And the reason why I say that is with manual sourcing, we're basically just going to the actual website that we think we can find profitable products on. And then we're trying to find that product on Amazon. And where that becomes a little bit harder than reverse sourcing is if you're that new seller, you don't really know what to look for. You don't know what might be good. It can take a lot more legwork, a lot more looking versus reverse sourcing to like actually figure it out. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I went ahead and pulled up just like a random example of one of these products, and I can press the SellerAmp Chrome extension up there. And what that does is it automatically grabs that title from this listing for me. And we can quickly see over here if that product actually has a listing on Amazon. But in this case, it seems like something that we might want to dig deeper on, right? So this pair of shoes is a 5,000 sales rank, and this particular color, this particular size, our max cost is pretty close to what we can pay. So that tells me that there might be like a more expensive size, more expensive color, that kind of thing, that we could actually be making some money on. Let's see if we can find that one. So it's like the core black one right here. Looking through some of these colors here, I don't know if I'm seeing that super well. Another thing we can do here is with the manual sourcing process, we can use things like Google image search. I'm just going to highlight over that and we can see if there is an Amazon listing. So let's see, it could be that right there. Let's see, that's like a different Amazon marketplace. That's Amazon India or something like that. Let's see. So these are, it looks like maybe the right listing. The data doesn't look super great. There's no sales rank, that type of stuff. So it probably doesn't sell super well. Not that those products don't ever sell, probably getting too far into the weeds to break some of that stuff down in a beginner video here. But let's go ahead and see if they had that other color. I'm not seeing that one either. So that's the problem with manual sourcing, is it's a lot more based on that knowledge of which listings even exist on Amazon, which products people are already buying. Let me see if I can find a slightly better example here. Usually I'm just opening up listings where the discount is decently high, the type of shoe, the vitamin, the grocery product, whatever you're looking at is more kind of standard. That's usually what I like to look at. And something like this, we might have some money to be made here because we can see these are like a $41 max cost. We're buying for $45. Here's another listing. That's another big gem, is make sure you're using the SellerAmp lookup over here, because a lot of times if you're using like some software that like scrape websites and that kind of stuff, I don't know if you've seen that before, but those tend to miss like a lot of the best products that are out there. Doing this manual sourcing process is time consuming, but it's how you find the stuff that stays profitable long term, right? So let's see, something like this, lots of these sizes in stock. Let's just go ahead and dive into Keepa a little bit here, and we'll see, and I'll show you just a quick hack for finding any of these sizes that we would want to sell. So here's another reason why you want to use like Keepa, SellerAmp, stuff like this, right? So we can go and let's just filter down to specifically that color that we had in stock. See, we've got 3 listings here. A lot of these have 24, 37 feedback, 25. So at least at one point they've sold decently well. And this one right here, we can see has, it's an $86 list price right now. We're buying these for 45. So we might make some money here after Amazon fees, all that good stuff. Yeah, so let's plug in our buy cost there. So 45 bucks, that's a 44% ROI. We're making 20 bucks a pair. So that's really not too bad at all. Nice little example there, just manually looking through this website, pulling up the listing that we might be able to sell it on. And it seems like on this one, maybe some of them got separated onto a different listing or something like that. Lots of weirdness can go on with Amazon. That's why it's so important to just go that extra mile, dig for those listings manually, try to figure out what you got going on. So this could be something worth checking out for sure. And so if you're a brand new Amazon seller, you're trying to dive into it, I'd really recommend you spend probably 80% of your time or so doing reverse sourcing, understanding which products do well, what should I be on the lookout for, and then after that, just spending that extra time diving in, seeing what else you can figure out. Again, if you want to see more of this process, you can check out the video that's on the doc right here. And that takes us on to step 5, which I just want to quickly break down some metrics for what I look for before I pull the trigger and start buying these popular name brand products. So first thing you want to look at is sales rank. Ideally, it's going to be somewhere like 100,000, maybe even like 150,000 sales rank, depending on the category. Some categories like automotive are a lot smaller. 100,000 in automotive would not be a great item. 100,000 in beauty or clothing or that type of thing probably still sells pretty well. So another good kind of gauge of how fast it sells that I like to look at is if SellerAmp tells me it sells at least 30 times a month, usually that is going to be selling fast enough for me. Profit margin, usually I want to look for around 30% ROI or $3 profit per unit. If you want to be a little bit stricter, maybe up to 35% ROI like I was breaking down. Stable pricing, that's massive. So on any of these products that you want to sell on Amazon, make sure that the price you are hoping to be profitable at is somewhat consistent. So like this pair of shoes we found, see, usually goes anywhere from 75 bucks up to 90 bucks. So if it goes back to 75 bucks, our worst case scenario, we're making 10 bucks. Our best case scenario, we're making 23. Not too bad of a best case scenario either way. Sometimes you'll buy a product where like today the price is 90 bucks. The last 6 months, every single day the price has been 40. Obviously you wouldn't want to buy something like that because it increases the risk that price might go back down. Demand, obviously super important. You want to make sure it's consistently selling well. So like on this sales rank line, you can see how it's pretty stable in the like 100,000 to 150,000 ish range. Not doing anything crazy, not like rapidly going up, showing me that it's not selling very well anymore. Low competition is always good. Somewhere between 3 to 10 sellers is typically where I find my best profitable products to sell. Usually not 1 or 2 though, because sometimes those can be brand restricted, which takes us on to the next one, right? So if that brand themselves like sells on Amazon or Amazon themselves sells the product for the brand, you can have a hard time competing with that. And also as you are trying to sell these products, make sure you're approved to sell them or at least can apply to sell them. The next step we'll talk about how to get approved to sell these big name brands. And then also just make sure you're not going to run into any, they're called IP complaints. Basically, if the brand's like policing their listings and they don't want third-party Amazon sellers, it is well within their right to do. So you can use a free resource like Seller Journal green light, or let's say like a brand like Kong, avoid at all costs. They're well known for taking legal action against Amazon sellers. Or if we look at something like Puma, which is pretty reseller friendly, it's not going to say anything. So we're good to go on that brand right there. You can also look on these items, and if that brand has a history of IP complaining, or based on just like some of the data about the product, SellerAmp will also throw you an IP alert here. That can also just be based on there being very few sellers. Really just a good thing to plug it into Seller Journal Greenlight, check for on the seller count graph down here. If you ever see anything where like 10 people got kicked off a listing all at once, the brand started policing it, that kind of thing, you'd want to avoid that as well. Step 6 of the process here, let's talk about ungating these brands, because obviously you have to get approved to sell these big name brands before Amazon lets you sell them on the platform. So super quick process. I've got a full video breaking this down for you, but let's say you're not yet ungated to sell these Reebok branded items. We would just go ahead and buy 10 units of this product from the Reebok website. We would take the invoice that Reebok gives us when we buy those items, make sure that your address is on it, it's got the product information, all that kind of stuff matches everything on your Amazon seller account. And then you're just going to go ahead and submit that invoice to Amazon. You can also attach any like pictures of the items, attach tracking numbers, all that kind of stuff. It's not unusual to get denied a couple times if you are trying to ungate. Sometimes it feels like however grumpy the ungating rep that's looking at your invoice felt that day. So if you do get denied, just keep submitting those documents, especially when you're buying like directly from the brand on their website. There's really no better way that we could prove that we're buying legit inventory. But again, there's a little ungating guide for you here on the document if you want to go ahead and download that there. So for step 7 here, let's talk about how we can actually get these profitable products that we've now ungated shipped off to our customers, right? So you have two major options when you're trying to actually make some sales, right? So we can go with merchant fulfillment, which is where we store the products directly, we list them on Amazon ourselves, and then whenever that order sells, we ship the product directly to the customer. And so this requires a lot more legwork because you're actually fulfilling each individual order. With FBA, you don't have to do that. But the massive benefits are that you get huge control of your inventory. So anytime there's listings where there's 2 different versions of the same product on multiple listings, you can switch it between and make more money on that. That's a really big gem. A couple of you guys are going to take advantage of that one and make some money. You're also able to more quickly test items out. So you find something on sale today, you buy it, shows up 3 days from now, you list it, it sells anywhere from 3 to 5 days after you bought something online. You could have sold it, tested the concept, restocked 10, 20 more based on how fast it sold. And you can really just get the ball rolling faster with FBM. Not to mention that using FBM also typically beats a lot of your competition to a listing. So even if you were to accidentally buy something that becomes really competitive, doing merchant fulfillment on that listing is going to beat a lot of those competitors, and you're just going to make more money on that item, right? A little bit harder to scale, takes more time. You have to individually prep and pack all those orders. It's fairly easy. Like, it's honestly very easy to understand how to do merchant fulfillment. And then whenever it sells, you get a big alert on your phone and on the Seller Central page. It shows you how to go in and create that label, all that kind of stuff. It's one of the very few things on Amazon that you don't really even need to explain to you. Once you make the sale, you'll see it. It'll be pretty easy to follow. The other alternative to doing merchant fulfillment, and this is how I run the vast majority of my business now. It's how I've done it for most of the time, because using Amazon FBA, we basically just ship off big boxes of inventory to Amazon. And whenever those items sell, Amazon takes care of the customer service, the order fulfillment, they ship it out to the customer, all that kind of stuff. And all we do in the front end is fill up those big profitable boxes with inventory to go ahead and send into Amazon. So to get this taken care of, this is where you would use Boxem to actually go ahead and create that shipment. Let's just go ahead and dive in quickly, and I'll show you the process of what Amazon's expecting you to do when you're sending products to Amazon. So let's just say we're making a little testing shipment right here. Once again, there's a full guide to creating a shipment on this doc. I'm not going to explain all these little options here today, but let's just go ahead and create the shipment here. We're just going to go ahead and continue on to this next step. And for this example, let's say we want to list these shoes that we found profitably earlier doing that product research. So we're going to take that ASIN, basically like a custom barcode that Amazon uses to say, hey, this is this specific product on Amazon. I'll type that into the Boxem search bar. You can also search just by like product name if you're selling like Stafford brand items or something like that. You can see all of the past items that you've sold that are like that. You can filter down to only products that are on Amazon. You can filter down to only products that you've already sold if you want to restock your products. In this case, let's go back over here to our shoe right here. So let's go ahead and set a price here. Right now it's at 86. I'm just going to sell it at 100. We'll lower the price whenever it comes back into stock. We were buying these for, I believe it was 40 bucks, 45. Okay, so sweet. We're buying these for $44.97. We're just going to say we bought 10 of them. We're going to put them all 10 of them in a case. You can also input your supplier here, so you can start storing like where you're making money, all that kind of stuff. And then I'll put like the date I purchased it. And you can also see we can custom configure what our SKU is for this product. So this is basically like naming your custom product on the back end of Amazon. And we can automatically pull like your supplier, date purchase. This is configurable as well. So whatever you want this to say, this is what I like to do so that I know like how old the product is, what I paid for it, where I bought it, it. And that tells me a lot that I need to know about. Can I restock it? Can I lower my price to this and it'll still be profitable? All that kind of stuff, right? So let's go ahead and add this to our batch here. You would just go ahead and keep adding however many products that you bought profitably. For our example, we're going to go ahead and continue on and say we're sending 10 of these in. It says, all right, we want 10 of these shoes all shipped to the Fort Worth warehouse. We're going to go ahead and confirm that shipment right there. And this takes us to step 3. So on step 3, this is where we use those labels that I was breaking down for you guys. So we're going to print out our FNSKU labels right here. And as you print those FNSKU labels, that's going to give you little labels that look something like this. When you do hook up that Rollo printer, or if you buy like an off-brand printer, this is going to automatically print those labels out on your printer. And basically what you're going to do from this step is on your item that you sent in, you're going to have that barcode label. You're going to label it over the product, something like that right there, over the barcode of the product. So the original like UPC barcode on those cards was right where I just put that sticker. So on our pair of shoes here, there's probably going to be like a UPC barcode on the outside. So you're going to go ahead and cover that UPC barcode with your FNSKU labels. And then we'll just go ahead and assign all of these to a box. So we can say, hey, we've got 10 of them per box. We got 1 box. We'll type in our dimensions, our weight. For 10 pairs of shoes, probably weigh 30 pounds or so, something like that. Probably a bigger box for shoes as well. So we can press save and print FBA box label. And again, once you have your printer hooked up, it's going to automatically send it. It'll also let you download it from here. So you can download this label. And this is a major feature of using box, as well as you can use these 2D barcodes that embed on your FBA box label. And basically what these labels do is they tell Amazon what's in the box without them having to open the box up, which from personal experience and seeing lots of other people use these 2D barcodes with Boxem, it has led to faster check-in times and less lost inventory. So that's a major bonus. Even having your items check in an average of 1 day sooner will make you a ton of money as an Amazon seller. So you want to be taking advantage of this type of stuff. As you go through, you probably add however many other products you have to your batch. If you need to add more boxes, you can create a box right there, set the weight. You can also just use the assign feature to say you want to split these evenly across both of the boxes. You can take care of that as well. Lots of stuff there, however you like to run your workflow. I really like the bulk assign option. And as you are labeling these items, you'll just put them straight down into that box that you want to ship them off to Amazon in. Those Walmart boxes you've already got laying around the house, whatever it is. The only rule with the boxes is don't use liquor boxes. For whatever reason, Amazon doesn't want you to ship in old beer boxes, something like that. I guess it makes sense, but just like a random little small rule I learned about Amazon pretty recently, honestly. Just a little fun fact there for you. So let's go ahead and continue on. And this is basically, we're saying, all right, we boxed it all up. We labeled our items. It's all taped shut. We're going to submit this off to Amazon. And this used to take 4 or 5 minutes. We've really made it a lot faster. You can see it's already done. And then at this point, we'll go ahead and buy our shipping label. So for our 30-pound box right here, we're going to be paying about $10 shipping. Not too bad at all. It's about 30 cents a pound. I would say the average shipment to Amazon for me recently has been around 60 cents a pound. You just want to budget that into your profit decisions, all that kind of stuff. And then we just go ahead and accept those shipping charges. And through this process, now you have put these FNSKU labels over the barcodes. You've taken this box label and put it on the outside of your box. And then you're just going to take this UPS label that you'll print out, slap it on the other side of the box, and then you'll drop it off at UPS or pay UPS to come pick it up for you. And you're done. You get back to sourcing more products. So hopefully that all makes sense. Again, if you want to see that in way more detail, I've got a video on the doc for you. Step 8, I want to break down some quick hacks for making those sales as fast as possible. The first thing is just to make sure your pricing is competitive. So the way that sales work on Amazon, like for example, over here on this like Neutrogena product we were looking at, the way that sales work on Amazon is they'll pretty much all go through the buy box right here. And the way you win this buy box, you win the add to cart button, is typically by having the fastest shipping speed or tied with the fastest shipping speed and having the most competitive price. So usually that's not necessarily the cheapest price. It just means that you're within like 1% or 2% of the buy box and your store has a good history of shipping out orders on time. Or using FBA if you're a brand new seller is a good way to prove to Amazon that your products are legit, that kind of stuff. If you're having trouble like checking your pricing and that kind of stuff, you can also use a repricing tool like Be Cool, $25 a month. You can set like a minimum and maximum price for that item, set up a custom rule that it tells the item like where to change the price, all that kind of stuff to keep your pricing competitive. And I already was stressing this to you. I'm going to stress how important FBA is yet again. If your goal is to get in and get that proof of concept and see, oh, is this Amazon thing legit? Is it a scam? Or is everybody lying online? Leverage FBA because, like I was saying, like you're just going to be able to get that proof of concept way faster. You skip the 2 to 3 week lag time of shipping to Amazon FBA by just listing it yourself, shipping it directly to the customer. People who grow super fast on Amazon, 99 times out of 100 are using FBA to grow really quickly. And then after they understand what items sell really well, then they're diving in and FBAing a lot more inventory on that same product, basically. basically. So take advantage of that. As you're going through and actually sourcing these products, there's some major ways that we can boost our profit margins as well. So I'm going to just walk you through two of those quick examples here. One of them is by buying discounted gift cards. So for example, like that Reebok sale where we're looking at today, we could look up on Cardbear and see if anyone is selling Reebok gift cards. I'm actually not sure if they do online gift cards, but yeah, they do. Sweet. So we can buy an e-gift card from Card Cash right here. We can buy $100 from Card Cash for $94. So after you've gone and sourced products, you found something profitably, you say you want to go and spend $1,000 on some shoes at Reebok, you might as well go in here and give yourself an extra 5% bonus money on that product, right? So this works for a ton of websites. So it's something like Ulta, if you want to go in and buy some discounted money, you can see like 13%, 10%, lots of opportunity for you there. Another really good one is using cashback deals. So let's say, what is the highest cashback rates of any provider if I'm buying from Reebok here today? And it looks like Retail Me Not might be doing 20% cashback. It's probably capped at $50. I would assume that's what that means. Rebates Me, we get 15% cashback. So let's say you're only using one of these providers, you only know about Rakuten or you only know about Top Cashback. There's a ton more, and it's going to introduce you to all the potential ways that you can basically get as much cash back on these items as possible. So let's say we're buying $100 worth of shoes and you get 15% back through cash back and you get another 5% off through those discounted gift cards. That's going to make a big difference on your bottom line. And people who really take advantage of this stuff, I know you're going to make a bunch of money. It does take work to use that type of stuff, but that's how you're really able to stand out from the crowd in this business where you're selling stuff that already sells. So definitely don't sleep on boosting your margins there. Another really good one is just like leveraging coupons. Let's go back over here to like the Reebok site and I'll show you a good example. So we can look at this Chrome extension called Capital One Shopping. It's free, just show all codes. And then a lot of times I'll just, if I'm ever stuck, not sure where to source, I'll just start throwing stuff into cart, letting this activate all the coupon codes, see if there's anything like on top that I can really start stacking on top of a sale that's already going on, or something like this where it's like a kind of a weird coupon code. Like maybe that's not supposed to be publicly visible, but it got stored on this third-party service, that kind of thing. But just use that to show me some extra ways that I can boost my margins basically, right? So take advantage of all that type of stuff. And in step 10, you've got some product shipped in, you're making those sales, you're boosting your margins as much as possible. Let's say you're having some trouble, you got some slow selling items, right? And to be honest, this isn't an issue I run into super often. Most of the time, you will at least sell your product. You're not always going to make a profit on every single item you sell. I wouldn't lie to you and say that. Obviously, you want to be hitting somewhere around like 80-90% of the stuff you're selling is profitable, but anything just straight up not selling is pretty rare on Amazon as long as you're looking into the data correctly and everything. If that ever does happen, you can do a couple things. Number one, just look at your pricing, make sure you're within the buy box. Your minimum, maximum, if you're using a repricer, is realistic. You're not like way above the buy box prices. That's usually a big one. Also check and make sure you're actually buy box eligible. So on Seller Central, if you go to inventory and look at all the items you're selling, it'll tell you if you're buy box eligible or not. And sometimes, let's say you're a brand new seller trying to do FBM and everybody else on the listing is FBA, you might just simply not be able to get the buy box like that, because Amazon does typically prioritize FBA sellers in the buy box because they generally have faster shipping time, right? Usually they get that 1 or 2 day prime shipping, and those FBM sellers might be closer to 3 or 5, right? So just look into that. Just make sure you are buy box eligible on that item. And then another thing you can do that I definitely was sleeping on for a while is running promotions. So if you want to lower the price on something where people will buy it more without causing a race to the bottom where everybody else lowers their price, you can use stuff like coupons. So you can set up a coupon on Amazon where say, hey, all the items in this brand from my store are now 10% off or something like that. And that helps you lower prices, make more sales without causing a race to the bottom via repricers typically. So you can look into something like that. That's something that I was definitely not taking advantage of enough in the early days when I was trying to sell those products. I just didn't quite know what I was looking for yet. And then I also want to go ahead and break down a bonus step on here for you. This is not required to hit that first $10,000 in sales. In fact, don't do this in your first $10,000 in sales. But at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I only spend about 30 minutes a day on my business that does a couple million a year. And these two things are why, right? As you scale your business, hopefully this casts a little bit of vision, shows you what's possible. Is the first thing you can stop doing is prepping products yourself. So like we were going through the process of creating a shipment, you can pay third-party services called prep centers. They'll basically, when you're buying products at Reebok, you ship the products to that prep center instead. You'll pay them anywhere from $1 or $2 per unit to receive, inspect, label that item, ship it all out to Amazon, and you still pay the shipping and everything like that, but you pay them to do the labor basically. So this can be really good if you are scaling your business decently and you're just running out of time. You just need to have more time to source products and spend money, and you're sitting there putting stickers on things. Your time's probably worth more than that as a business owner, right? So you could look into something like a prep center, especially if you already got a super busy life, you just genuinely can't squeeze stuff in. That is going to be something that's good to take advantage of. And then the second thing that I've used to really scale massively is hiring virtual assistants. So I've hired a team of people from countries like the Philippines, where they're basically working overnight, finding products for my store, making sure everything's going smooth, ungating all these brands for me, all that kind of stuff. And that lets you focus on high level business, like helps you focus on the stuff that makes you the most money. So sourcing is typically what's going to be making you the most money as a business owner, especially as you scale. You don't need to be sitting there spamming the Ungate applications and worrying about tracking down missing inventory, that kind of stuff. Those are great tasks to give to a virtual assistant. You can pay anywhere from $3 to $10 an hour, and you're going to get some great help so you can focus on building your business for the long run and just turning your business into a business, right? You don't want to be working 24/7, side hustling for the rest of your life. You want to start something that you can eventually outsource a lot of the work. That's what I've really liked about starting my Amazon reselling business. I've been able to use these two things to really save myself a lot of time. So hopefully you found a ton of value in this deep dive into selling your first 10,000 bucks on Amazon. If you don't already have Boxum or SellerAmp, the tools that we were using to get set up today, again, you can get free trials of those down below, and check out the document that we were looking at today. I'll link that down below. That is completely free. And both those tools, you can get free trials, test them out for 2 weeks, see if this business makes sense for you, see if you enjoy running it. Because at the end of the day, you got to pick something that makes you money and you have a little bit of fun doing it. As you're going through this process, let me know down below if you have any questions, comments, anything I can help you out down with below. Always super happy to answer those questions for you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe, like button, all that kind of stuff on your way down there, I would appreciate that as well. But I really appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you next time.